Hey guys, what's up? I got a comment on one of my videos that, I just said turn up your volume. So if that person is watching, might I suggest you use earbuds and turn up your volume? You got it? Alright, enough being a dick. I'm gonna be changing up the format. I'm probably gonna be putting out one video a week, and just here kind of rehashing my week on what went on, where the updates, what the updates are, if any, and if there's no Freebird updates or anything like that, I'll just tell you a story. And I can also move around freely with this thing. Well, not move around freely, but I can sit here with this thing on and not worry about tripping over it and breaking my phone. Yeah, as far as Freebird, man, I had a crazy week. There's so many moving parts to the story that happened. I'm just going to give you the simplified version. Basically, I got 3 steel valve bodies, and one of them came in the first shipment that I was really excited about. It was all rusty, and I messaged Rustlin. I'm like, hey, something happened. It was wrapped in cellophane. So I said, don't worry, I think I can fix it. It's like, okay, great. So I re-blued it, sent him pictures of it, and then I started to do that Freebird build with it. And that was great, up until testing started, after I'd gotten the other valve bodies in, the other snails, and there was some confusion on how many he sent. Only got 3 that I know of. So, started testing, and it was behaving like one of the old style valve bodies. And spent 2 days on it. And then I messaged Russell, hey, is there something that you're doing differently than me? Because I can't get this thing to work. The BBs kept hanging up behind the centering screw, and when that happens, it just won't fire. And then he says, what serial number is it? I gave him the serial number, the one that was re-blued, and I was like, yeah, that one's machined differently than all the rest of them. Don't use it. Try these other serial numbers. So I got a list of like 5 or 6 of them. I'm like, well, I've only got 2 others. He's like, well, I'll have to see what I have, but try those. So, really wanting to choke somebody, but it is what it is. So meanwhile, I was thinking that all the ones that I had were good. So I promised those into builds to people with the understanding that, if these work, then I can do you a build. Not knowing that one of them just absolutely wasn't going to work, and I don't know why I even have it or spent all the time on it that I did. So it's still in the Freebird as we speak. I had to pull off of it and do other work, so I still haven't even tried the new ones. I did get that valve body to function for maybe 30 shots off of the hop, and man, it's just so different than a Superbird. It just feels so much more solid and quiet. So if you like them loud, the Superbird would be the way to go. As far as the replicas, when I hop one up to 4K, that, as far as I'm concerned, that is a Superbird. I wasn't expecting them to sell very fast, so I've got only one on order if you're interested, and I haven't gotten a chance to get to that build yet. But as far as I know, these are the last ones that they're going to send me, unless something changes. And at this point, there might only be 2 finalized Superbirds. I really don't know. But anyway, that's where that is. So now I'm going to tell you a story. If you don't want to hear it, I'll see you later. You can come back to the next update. It's about a former life of mine. Some of you guys know that I used to be a hairdresser. I actually went to cosmetology school and did that for several years. Now, how I got there is a completely different story. But when I got there, I'm surrounded in women, and there were 2 other guys and 1 straight guy. So me and the straight guy, we kind of gravitated towards each other and developed a friendship because we were just basically surrounded by females and gay men. And I'm not going to say his name, but he had just gotten out of a 7-year prison sentence. He's a very attractive black male, a couple years older than me. Was a high school football star, all this. And all the girls, man, they used to just fawn over him until he opened his mouth, because that boy's dumb as a box of rocks. But, man, you gotta love him. So, hair school, that was something different. I learned a whole lot about stuff that I never would have learned if I hadn't have gone. For one, I was in my early 30s, something like that. And I didn't even up until that point know that black women chemically straighten their hair. It's just not something that I never knew about. So I'm very proficient in doing jerry curls and all that stuff. Most of our clientele was black women. Occasionally you'd get white women in there, and that was funny. When they would come in for hair, a lot of them would want to go blonde. And let me tell you, cosmetology school is not the place to go if you want to do that. Man, it was like the Kenneth Beauty School of horrors. I tell you what, it was a mess. One thing about going blonde is you do what they call lift the hair. And you do it with chemicals. Basically what you do is you pull the color out of the hair, and you're left with a stubborn color, which is, a shade of red. And it goes to yellow, to light yellow, to pale yellow. And if you have somebody with particularly dark hair, their hair won't lift as high as someone with, say, naturally blonde hair. So you would lift their hair as much as you could, trying to minimize the damage, because when you chemically lift someone's hair, it damages the actual structure of it. So if you lift someone's hair who's got fairly dark hair, you're going to end up with this nasty looking nicotine yellow. And then you need to go back in and tone it. Now, they do have hair colors that lift and tone at the same time, but a lot of times that doesn't work. The darker the hair, the more of those colors are not going to give you the desired result that the client wants. So, what you've got to do is you've got to go in and lift the hair, and then you end up with this nasty nicotine yellow. And, you let the client know that this is going to happen. So they don't start freaking out and crying. So, after you lift the hair, you go back in with like a violet, and you tone it, because the violet cancels out the yellow. And if you don't do this right, you will turn their entire head of hair blue. And if you really don't do it right, it will be blue, blue, blue. Like this popular trend with these SJW people blue. And then, you've got no recourse from there. People say God was made in man's image. I tell you, man, he's got a sadistic sense of humor. So anyway, you get it to like blue. If you mess up and you end up going a little too far, you end up with blue hair. This is why you'll see older women with blue hair. They're just trying to get the yellow out with this blue shampoo. So there's a couple of things that you can do at this point. You might as well just pack up your things and go home for the day. What you can do is you can try to cancel out the blue. What you can do is try to add some, I think it's yellow or something, to try to cancel out the blue. And if you don't do that right, you end up with green hair. And by this point, that green is just so fried and so damaged. I mean, you just touch it and it breaks. And it can get to the point where the customer ends up having a burnt scalp and has to shave all their hair, and then they just leave crying. It's absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I saw that happen a lot. Yeah, people pay for what they get there. So, excuse me. Back to my buddy. We'll call him Chris. All right. Now, he came in 2 or 3 months after I started. And we'd always get stations right next to each other, and joke back and forth. Just getting through the day out on the floor. And so, yeah, we became pretty good friends. And, well, I was graduating earlier than he was. And he's like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do without you. I'm like, man, I feel for you, brother, but it'll be all right. You'll make it through these last couple of months. Just hang in there. And he was really worried about this. So the day before graduation, it was a nice sunny day. I went outside and I took my phone and I snapped a picture of this cheesy grin. I wish I could show you that picture. And I had one of those printers. When they first came out, it was ones that would print picture quality pictures. So I printed it out. I don't know what size that is. And I went down to the dollar store and I got a frame. And I framed this picture of just my face. On the day I left, I was like, here you go, Chris. I'm not leaving you. You can just put this on your station and I'll always be with you. I'll be with you till the end, brother. So he was like, thanks, man. That means a lot. Well, so I'll leave hair school and I'm doing my thing out in the real world. And I get a call from Chris one day, or I ran into him. I can't remember what it was. And he said, man, you're not going to believe what happened. I'm like, what? He said, like the week after you left, this little black gay guy came in, and they sent him to me for a haircut. And I wasn't thinking anything about it, and I was just talking to him and cutting his hair. And then I turned him around to look at the mirror, and I'd forgotten that I had your picture right there. And he said, who's that? Oh, Chris, I think I'm going to send you this video just to remember that. All right, guys, I guess I'll see you next Sunday. What I'm going to try to do is take some clips from the week before and mix them in, maybe explain some stuff, and then, maybe follow it up with a story, just depending on how long everything is. But I think we're going to go with that format for now. It's hectic trying to make videos during the week, and I actually took a whole bunch of clips from this past week and the week before, but I didn't end up putting them in videos just because, it was such a messed up week. And then the same time, my memory card filled up, so I dumped my memory into a black hole hard disk drive. So that's where we are. And if you want to continue anything in this video, in the conversation, I will see you down below in the comments later.